I would stop would have a 100 in terms of that. Okay. Um, you will start with your lowest data. It's just that because I give you this 10-point grading scale, that's why I go with this even 20 to 30 to 40. Yes. Now, one thing about a histogram, ladies and gentlemen, your histogram and your polygon, one thing is the vertical item is your data. Whatever your vertical item, I have it correct earlier and then I doubt myself. Your vertical item is right here is your frequency. Okay? Your vertical item right here will only can be your frequency. My frequency right here, the highest frequency I have is 5, so I end up with 6. I don't need that 6, but again, your frequency will always be on your vertical item. Your horizontal item is your data. It's depending on what data you have, that's your horizontal item. So all you do is this, basically again, from 20 to 30, from this number, 20 to 30, how big is the frequency, which is again, all you do is you say, well, because it's 1, you just go in and you go from the bottom, go up to 1, you give me 1 ball, right? The frequency is 1, so you go from the bottom up to number 1, which is your frequency is 1, you draw a line, you give me the ball. And the unique thing about the histogram is the boundary, the line right here, they will touch each other. If they don't touch each other, we call that a ball graph. The unique about histogram is all of your ball will touch each other, which is again, we're going from 40 to 50, we go because of the frequency is 3, we go up to 3, we give us 1 ball, right? From which is we go up to the 4 frequency and we draw a ball, which is again, this your frequency should look like this, which is again, at each location, as you can see, we have 5, 5, and this thing will be 3, which is your last item is 3. So again, looking at this thing here, which is again, you can see the majority of student, right? The majority of student is between 70 to 90, right? 10 of them, right? They are 25, 10 of them is between the 70 point to the 89 point, which is 10 of them here, which is again, as you can see, which this shape that we have in terms that we can compare our data. But like I say, the unique thing about the histogram is all of your line, all of your boundary have to touch one another. Okay. So again, basically you go to your data and you go up to whatever the frequency is and you draw your ball. Sometimes they don't have a boundary. They're using a 1 number to represent a class. And again, this is if basically to take a number, basically they ask yourself or they just ask you what is the midpoint or what is the middle of the number between 20 to 29, right? So again, to find this midpoint, basically all you do is you take 20 plus 29 and divide by 2, right? To find a mid number, mid-range, which is later on you will see a mid-range or midpoint. You just take the 2 endpoints, you add them up and divide by 2. So sometimes they just say, okay, I want one particular number to represent the whole class, right? I don't want to list each of my class. I want one particular number to represent the class, and to take that, to find that number, you find the midpoint of take the lowest plus the highest, divide by 2. So again, because I jump, every time I jump is 10, everybody see that I take 20 plus 29, divide by 2, I have 24.5. Every time I jump, I add 10, I add 10, add 10, add 10, add 10, add 10, add 10, right? That's my class width, okay? So again, the frequency is the same, right? The frequency is the same. The reason why I give you guys this table is the same as the previous table. It's just that the boundary, because they give us a class, we use in the class. The reason why I want to give you this midpoint is because your polygon, they're using the midpoint instead of the whole class, because you're not using 20 as your first class. You have to take one number to represent the whole group of number. And to take that one number, you have to find the midpoint or mid-range, okay? Which later on you will see mid-range, the formula for mid-range. But again, midpoint and mid-range is the same. Take the lowest add with the highest, divide by 2. So again, the difference between the polygon is they take the midpoint and they put a dot. All you do is, again, everybody see right here, the middle between 20 to 30, the middle I go, and my frequency, like I say, your frequency is right here, which is, that's your frequency, and your gray is right here, which is your data. But instead of put it on the edge of the item, we have to put in the middle, which is your midpoint, represent that class, which is between 20 to 30. I use my midpoint at 24.5. That's my 1 point. Second point, third point. And again, basically all you do is you go in and you connect your point once you have it, right? So if you take this table and you put it over here, it's the same information. It's just like this thing here give you the ball. And again, this is also, again, this is your bar chart. Like I mentioned, your bar chart right here, this is your bar chart. Why is a bar chart? Because they have a gap between each of your class. So I want to show you the difference between the bar chart here versus the histogram. The histogram, again, I make a mistake. I have a small gap here. It's supposed to be touch each other. So again, that's your histogram over here. This is your bar chart, which is your bar chart have a gap. And this is your polygon. The polygon and the histogram is the same. It's just that the polygon is basically, you start from 0, you connect to the first dot, you connect to the next dot, connects from left to right, you connect your dot from left to right, which is again, and at the last point, you just go back down to 0. Okay, so again, that's what we have, which is, again, this is your polygon. In the sense, it's basically tell you my first number, my first class, what is the frequency? I put a point there. My second class, what is the frequency? I put a point there, and so on and so forth. I just put a point on all of them, and then I connect all of my point together. Okay. So again, question with this histogram, hologram. They won't ask you to construct the bar chart. They probably give you the bar chart and ask you information from the bar chart. Right? They can ask you what is the, what class have the highest frequency. They don't give you this thing here. They give you this. You will say, well, the 2 class have the highest frequency will be 70 to 79, 80 to 89. Those are the two highest frequency, right? The frequency is 5, right? Which class or classes have the lowest frequency, which is, again, this 2 class have the lowest, which is the 1, right? So again, it's the same as histogram. It's just that they have a gap. So those are the kind of information they can ask you. Your histogram or your polygon. Again, frequency is here, data is here. Okay. So the last thing I want to cover today, which is the stem and leaf plot. The stem and leaf plot is this, which is, again, same data. It's the same data I have for you guys earlier, which is, again, this is my raw data. My raw data is the 25 test score that I have, the 25 test score I have. And now I want to construct the stem and leaf plot. So how do we construct the stem and leaf plot? Which is to construct the stem and leaf plot, this is what we need is first, the stem and leaf plot is this, which is the stem contain the 10 digit of your data. And the leaf contain the 1 digit of your data. Meaning, for instance, right here, everybody see that 95, the 9 is the 10 digit, and the 5 is the 1 digit, right? So my stem will be 9 and my leaf will be 5. Okay? If the data have a decimal or the number bigger than 99, then the leaf will be the smallest digit you have, and the stem will be the rest of your digit. Meaning, for example, if you have like 12.7, Well, the smaller